Objections, objections, objections. We all hate objections. Has it ever happened to you that you've closed a deal, you think everything is done, you've started delivering content, you started delivering services, products, whatever it is that you're selling, and your customer comes back to you and says, it's too hard. It's not the right thing. I want to stop. Don't you hate when that happens? Well, I got an idea for you on how you can overcome that. But before I get into that, my name is Razmig Malkhassian. I am a student of how people make decisions, starting from me, how we communicate, the power of words, and I've been involved in sales and leadership and team building for over 30 years. As an entrepreneur, as a manager, as a consultant, and over these 30 odd years, I've trained, mentored, guided hundreds, if not thousands of individuals overcome barriers and release their potential, their innate potential. Now, to perfect my knowledge, over 3 years ago, I got certified as a high-ticket closer. To develop my leadership skills, I became a remote sales team leader. And in order to develop my skills even further as a team leader, I certified as a high-ticket coach. My mission right now is to help 1 million individuals overcome their limiting beliefs and the conditioning that society has put on them to realize their vision and overcome the reality that's stopping them from getting there. Now, back to the subject at hand. When a prospect after the sale comes back to you and wants to cancel, what do? Do you get upset? Do you get mad? Do you get nervous? Have you spent the commission already? Do you start blaming the prospect on why are you giving up? Well, I've got news for you. It's not the prospect's fault. Guess whose fault it is? It's your fault. It's your responsibility. And the reason why that happens is because you were too focused, usually, on closing the sale and not enough on solving the prospect's problem and addressing the challenges and the limiting beliefs that they have about that. And now you need to understand something. If a prospect was able to do what they signed on to do with you by themselves, they would have already done it. The reason why they're contacting you is because they desperately need help. The reason why they can't do it is because all the decisions that they've made can only get them as far as where they are today. And if their vision is bigger than what their reality is, that means whatever needs to be done is outside of their field of vision. They have absolutely no idea how to do it. They may not even know how that it exists and that it's possible. So they've contacted you because they feel that you may have the answer. But when they're alone, their old self, their lower self, wants to keep them in their zone of comfort. Now, if you don't address this and you don't show compassion and empathy towards those challenges, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So here's what you should do. From my experience, these are the elements that help overcome this. In a previous video, I mentioned how to preempt objections. Now, a prospect that comes back and says that I want to cancel, it's not working for me, this isn't right, it's an objection. It's nothing else. So don't take it personally. Take it as an objection that you did not handle previously and now needs to get handled. So the process is very simply not to get upset, not to start blaming, not to focus on what the prospect says in the email or in the phone call, because those are the excuses that are hiding their lower self. First step is to understand that the prospect has a justified concern. Don't accept it, but recognize it. Next step is to understand what is the reason behind the objection. So dig for what's motivating this. Ask the question. Refer, if you did your job well, refer to the pain points, the vision, what they wanted to achieve that they couldn't do by themselves, and have them explain to you why they've changed their mind. Now, it may be justified. Death in the family, a divorce, something that really prevents them on moving forward. Then you can work with that. If it's justified, there's not much you can do. And that's okay. If you handle it right, when the time is better, they'll come back to you. It's not a lost sale. It's just not now. If you don't handle it right, then you've lost them, plus all the people that they were going to refer to you. And by the way, somebody that wants to cancel, that's handled properly, constructively, will refer you customers. So don't be afraid to ask for that. So getting back to the process. So number one, recognize that there's a problem from them. Doesn't mean you're accepting it. Recognize that it's valid and it's there. And did you empathize with them? Step number two is clarify what's really behind it. You may need to dig a little bit. You can't be direct with asking the questions. You learn the art of asking questions and digging for information. There's another video that you'll be able to watch on my channel that talks about that. And get to the source in the back. They may have said, you know what, money is an issue. I don't want to put, it's too hard, this, that, the other thing. They may be feeling by themselves and their lower self is just pulling them back. And that's the only reason. And in that case, what you really need to understand is it's their lower self. So they need to realize that you're there to help them through those hard times. To prevent this objection, the best solution I found is to address the challenges that are coming down the line as a consequence of their decision to come out of their comfort zone. So make sure before you close the sale, to avoid the cancellation down the line, to address the challenge of Mr. Prospect. Great, you've decided to move forward with this. Great, you've decided that it's now. You've decided that it's us. Now, I want you to realize something. The process you're going to go on is a simple process because we've developed a proven formula. But it's not going to be easy because what you've done up to now and what you're used to doing up to now has only brought you so far. What you're looking for is outside of your comfort zone. And that is going to be the difficult part, overcoming your discomfort, the initial discomfort. But take heart. This is a temporary pain, and it gives you the possibility of realizing your dream. And the good news is that we're going to be there with you to help you through. Now, are you sure you're ready to overcome this? Are you sure you want to move through this? Because it is going to take some adjustment. There are going to be some changes to what you've done. So, are you sure? Is your goal important enough to make this transition. And at this point, you can also bring in cost of inaction if it's adequate. And if you're looking for more detailed information on how to apply it, practice it, role play it, if you have some questions of concerns, type it in the chat, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. There is a process. There's no strategy. Yeah, it is a strategy. There's no technique. There's no gimmick. None of that sort. There's a process you take the prospect through, which guides them along in overcoming their limiting beliefs. And that's something that I share in my trainings and in my coaching. And I'll be more than happy to share that with you. So, if you get a prospect that's giving you an objection when you don't expect it, remember, you forgot to address a concern that your prospect has. Good news? Now that you know that, you can figure out how to handle it, how to preempt it, and never even have that issue come up. I wish you lots of success and look forward to seeing you in the next video.